So I better get this pulled up too.
All right. Yes, we are live. If you saw that introduction, right now we got Mr. Pat in the bunker coming from somewhere in the fields of Nebraska. How you tonight, Pat?
Oh, not too bad. I got rained out today, so finally got to relax, chill out a little bit, and I'm back down in the bunker, probably where I belong. But anyway, thanks for having me on tonight, Rich. I guess we'll see what kind of mayhem and mischief we can get ourselves into tonight.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Out there in the chat so far, we've had Vanessa Kitty out there. Buck was out there. Gun Hobo 62B. That's a new name. You obviously you were out there. I guess I don't have to tell you. You would know if you were out there in the chat or not.
It's my doppelganger. He's out there, and he broke into my all my security stuff.
Your brother stole your account. Is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
Yeah, he knows all my secrets.
It's that psychic
Identical twin.
twin link.
ESP. It's the ESP going up. He knows everything.
Yeah, let's see. We got Gunpowder Beauty out there, evening Jesse. And Gizzard Gary out there saying, yeah, holy hell, look who's live. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I missed Gary's show Friday. I had to get up early Saturday and get a CT scan. So.
Yeah, that'll happen, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We're not getting any younger.
Nope. Definitely not. Did you see?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, Gary, rub it in. I'm going to ask you, did you see the headline where apparently a congressman has proposed a bill in the House to send the Palestinian protesters and force them to go to Palestine for 6 months and then come back and see if they want to protest in favor of Palestine?
I am all for it. Send them over there. I don't care if it takes taxpayers' money. Fly them over and see how long they want to stay over there. I guarantee you, within about 2 days to 1 day, they're all back here.
Yeah, they're gonna be begging, take us back home.
Right.
Some of them probably would never make it back home.
No, they unalived off of the top of a building. Just saying, you know, I'm trying to put this as delicately as I can on YouTube.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
I just there's a certain flag that people congregate around, and yeah, it has many colors on it.
Yeah,
and it's shaped like a rainbow.
There's that group LGBTQ plus whatever for Palestine. They don't understand what would happen to them if they were over in Palestine or Gaza or West Bank areas.
Have they read their manifesto out of there?
It's not even that.
It's on websites. It's their belief. It's what they do.
Look, yeah, and it's not like it hasn't happened recently. When ISIS was trying to take over Iraq and Syria, they were throwing them off of roofs of buildings over there.
Yeah. It's like, do people not do searches and look on the internet and watch this stuff? Because there's videos. Trust me, there's videos. And it's like if people would only just research for a little while, they would understand that they don't know how good they have it in the United States.
Yeah,
They really don't. They're clueless. They just protest to protest.
yeah. Basically, they're getting paid to in most cases.
Yeah, well, that's George Soros. But anyway,
Like
and a couple
Vanessa
other
said,
ones.
most Muslim countries ban anyone but heterosexual, and they also believe killing your wife is just fine. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, wife beating and stuff. It's in the Quran. It's in the Hadith. Had to
yep,
read. Had to read it when I was taking one course when I was in college. You want to talk about one of the
yeah.
most miscombobulated books ever written?
Ooh, man, we sat in the back chat one night, and you had told me that, and I said, well, in the back chat, I said, just give me the high and the low points on it, and you spoke for about 40, what was that, half an hour, 45 minutes on that, and
Uh-huh.
I delved into it a little bit, but not, to the extent that you had, and I was like, are you kidding me? Yikes!
Yeah. I don't think the majority of Muslims have actually read the Quran. If you, there's a joke going around on the apologetics channels, which are trying to convert Islam from Islam, that you are told the Quran is true, so you believe in the Quran. You read the Quran, you realize it's fake, and you leave Islam.
Right?
Hey, Rob,
We got quite a few people joining in tonight.
How's it going, guys?
not too
Oh, it's
bad.
going pretty good. Long time no speak there, New York. How we doing tonight, bud?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Still stuff from eating out, so
Oh, right on.
interesting.
Okay, that
Interesting.
could be a double entendre there, Rob. The way you were.
You just had to go there, Rich.
Hey, you've been on this show before, Pat. You know how this works.
Oh yeah, I know. Anything and everything comes your way, and I stepped in that
It's
one too.
uh,
Actually, meant to go to one place that I went to not long ago, a little diner, because I figured it would be, less likely to have a wait long, because everywhere around here people are waiting like an hour plus for tables. In case people don't know, today's the busiest day of the year for restaurants. So Mother's Day, everybody takes their mom out to eat, I guess.
Yep.
So I ended up getting to the one place that was closed like by 3 minutes, but which it's might as well close because it would have sucked to get there 5 minutes before they closed or whatever. But so I went to another place across the road that I knew was there, but I never checked out. And oh my gosh, man, this it was good. It was good. It's pricier than I normally like, but it was good. At least you left there like I'm still stuffed, happy. You know what I mean? So paid a bit, but I left satisfied versus paying a bit and getting home and searching the cabinets. So
real quick, I wanted to say hi to Chris from the 740 out there, and Keith Gregory's out there. Ashley A jumping in out there on the YouTube chat as well. And there's Black Cat Outdoors. Ain't seen you in a while, RL. Good to see you out there too.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I seen him. Howdy, Black Cat.
I was hoping we didn't lose him with one of the still explosions, but I'm glad he's still kicking.
Yeah. So since we're
Vanessa,
on the, oh, go ahead, Rob.
I was,
Go ahead.
I was going to say Vanessa had a question out there earlier. It's right
Okay.
in line with what things we talk about in this show. If you could move close to the speed of light, would you?
Close to the speed of light? Out in space? Yes. Close. Not too, but close. Just to see what it was like.
How about you,
I don't
Rob?
know. What's the drawback? I mean, do you gotta eat 6 months worth of food in 2 days or something for the energy, or it doesn't cost you anything to do so? Is there any drawback to it, or it's just would you if it
Don't
didn't
ask
cost?
me.
No, she
Never
didn't have
done it,
any
Rob, so I couldn't
stipulation.
tell you.
She didn't have any
I
stipulation
guess,
behind it.
if
So
the dang building was on fire or something, I might, or really got to use the bathroom, maybe. Other than that, I don't know. Somebody wants to bet
nice,
on a
Rob.
race.
Oh, that's funny. Nice.
Would I
Moon
have to
says
pay for insurance? Maybe
Moon
that's the
says
new
his
form
arms would get tired. Yeah, people think that in Star Trek and Star Wars they were moving at the speed of light when they would go into warp drive. So warp drive in Star Trek or the hyperdrive in Star Wars, but they really weren't. The way the warp drive worked, well, both were based on theories that Einstein had, right? They would replicate faster than light speed without actually going faster than the speed of light. The warp drive, what it does, it's based on a principle. Okay, I got a piece of paper here. Einstein proposed theory. I got to turn my camera on for this one. Change the layout here. Okay, this is Einstein's theory. Here's space. Okay, and when you, his theory was you could bend it. So instead of traveling along a straight line, like if you're traveling north and south, say through space, you would travel north and south, and you take up the whole sheet of paper. But if you could take space and bend it, then you could go through, instead of traveling along a straight line, go from this point here by traveling through the gap between where the two pieces of paper are folding closer together. And that's what the warp drive in Star Trek did. The warp factor was how much that paper would bend by.
Yep. Warp 1, Warp 2, Warp 3.
Right.
And they
The
had it all up to Warp 13, if I remember right.
And then they had
at one point.
transwarp, which was like a separate angle. It's like going supersonic and then transonic. You warp and then transwarp.
Right.
But in Star Wars, with the hyperdrive, Einstein also had a theory that there's possibly another dimension right next to ours where light and everything moves faster through it because there's not as much resistance. So while technically speaking they were moving faster than the speed of light in our dimension, when they hit the hyperdrive they would pop into this other dimension, and while they were traveling faster than what the speed of light would be in the primary dimension, in that secondary dimension speed of light was faster than what it was. So they were able to travel faster than the speed of light in the main dimension, but in that secondary dimension they were still going slower than what light would. And planetary bodies and stuff would cast shadows in there, which is why they had to jump out of hyperspace before they came into the shadow of a planet. Because if you come into a shadow of a planet, it was like hitting a planet. This is another theory that was proposed by Einstein. So that's the way that worked in those movies and TV shows.
Yeah. How do the matter replicators work?
I haven't studied all that stuff, Rob.
Because I wouldn't mind one of those where you can put your favorite drink in and then boop, it'll pop out another one, or you can program it to it, or a tool or a part or anything, kind of like 3D printing, but pretty much instantaneous, and with all types of things. This is from some books I've been into, but that's pretty neat. So some of these things make you wonder.
Yeah, for sure. Whether it's taking matter straight out of the air or some kind of matter device that you feed it, with essential minerals and all the stuff that it needs to do all that, it'd be pretty hard to do. I mean, keep
Oh
something
yeah,
like that fed, you
think
know.
of what that would solve. I mean, you could solve hunger, medical,
Hmm.
as far as having medication, you know, drinks, whatever. I mean, you just solve a lot of problems. So I think there wouldn't be any need for all these companies out there to sell us different products when we can just replicate the ones we like.
Yeah, yeah, very true. Well, I don't, might be a stretch, but maybe the 3D printer is the basic form of a replicator. Maybe we're getting from 3D printer starting into the replicator.
Okay, I see what you're
With
saying. Yeah.
with metals and plastics and everything, being able to build and do stuff really super quick on
Or
there.
just
So
go at the
it's not a
A-track
stretch.
level.
Yeah, yeah,
Theoretically,
exactly, Rob.
that's what replicators did. They broke down waste and took the molecules and printed it out with what you asked the replicator for instantly.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just feeding a machine, whatever materials it needs to build whatever you want. So maybe that 3D printer is a very basic, very generic replicator that we're starting it on now.
Yeah. You guys think it'll ever get to the point where you'll be able to make a version of whatever you like out of something like that? Or do you think the companies will ban against it? You know,
Yeah.
or, yeah, because they'll be cutting them for business. I assume the government would tax, like, I don't know, maybe by weight for whatever you made. Yeah.
Well, I think it's kind of like the AI deal. The AI deal has come so far so quick that it's almost kind of, you can't regulate it because everybody is just going so fast and trying to make a better version like that. Maybe I'm wrong on it, but
Maybe. I don't
I,
know. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know if the government can even catch up because the government can't do anything with AI right now. It's been going so dang fast that hell, we'll probably all be dead in about 10 years anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Gonna be Terminator out there. Those little
Yeah.
dog robots running around hunting people down, and
Oh God, don't say that. Oh man, I hate to shoot. I love dogs. I hate shooting dogs. I don't care if it's a robot or if it's got some flesh on it. Man, I like dogs. You just confirmed my worst fear right there, Rob.
Now, Black Cat asks the question: if a self-replicating machine had AI, would that be considered a new life form?
Mm,
I don't know. There's a difference between AI and what do you call it, like cognitive or whatever. So
Well,
uh,
remember what they're calling AI right now isn't truly AI, but if there was
yeah,
actual real AI that was self-aware, it'd be hard to say no.
yeah, that's definitely
Scary,
questionable.
scary.
That's it's a weird territory. Yeah,
Well, and that's kind of like,
next thing,
wait. Oh, sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, next thing you know, they got unions and this and that, and they want Sunday off and all this shit.
No, because even though that's funny as hell, um, computers, man, they don't want days off. Even though Rob, that was fucking hilarious. Uh, man, once it began, just like Skynet, it was just a system. Just like any other system, just to hunt out uh, problems or anything else in the world. In the military basis set, you know, then it became self-aware. So, does AI become self-aware in our time? I mean, does it truly take over and actually say, no, you people are all wrong. This is how it needs to be because it gets so much computing power, so much information into it, and it finally figures out, oh, these people are fucking nuts.
Well, they had that Google AI bot thing that basically, when questioned, would responded something in the manner of down the thought path of you know reducing the size of humanity because it's a problem. There was a couple other, I think it was China or Korea had a thing going on, and it killed a bunch of people in the lab or testing area. Basically, every time they turn one of these types of things or let one loose, keeps coming to the same conclusion, at least from my understanding lately, that we got to go. So, I mean, hopefully we wouldn't continue on that process because, there's a few handfuls of examples and they all turn out to be a problem. It's not a good sign. How's it going, Foss?
Yep. Hey,
It's
Foss.
going all right.
Howdy, Foss.
Vanessa
Hello.
asks, self-aware is when? We have had computers learning how to properly swear. Does that count?
I think that counts because it's becoming more human-like, and I am going to uh, break this out. I am going to do a full review on this, but DM, since you're on tonight,
You got it backwards, Pat.
oh,
Hey, get off there.
DM Foss, you are the man.
Well, I am a man.
No, you are the man.
It's pretty cool.
Who? Who's the guy with two thumbs and has his own flag? This guy.
Buck asks, do AIs know which bathroom to use? I don't think they have that problem.
I think the quantum computers are a huge step towards AI because they are so powerful.
Yeah, I would agree on that. Uh, Especially once they get the problem of there's a certain computer that has to be cool enough to run at the neuron speed that our brains run at. Damn it, what in the hell is that thing called? I just listened to a podcast on it 2 days ago. Uh, you have to have the cooling necessary in the quantum computers to make it functional. and it has a lot to do with fusion to make the speed. And that stuff gets really tricky really quick, even though we're coming up on it really, really quick. Damn it, I wish I could remember the whole line on that. But yeah, it's trippy.
I got nothing against better, faster, computers in a sense. I just don't want, and I got nothing against computers doing certain jobs. I don't know, working in places with radiation or this or that. You know what I mean? Things like that. I got no problem with anything like that in a sense. But yeah, I do think we should continue and retain, a kill switch commands or whatever, they shouldn't be, they should just be a computer. They should be a tool. We shouldn't be questioning if they're a person. That's taking shit too far, at least in my opinion. So I know, people are out there and they want their gorgeous sex robot that just needs a tune up every 3 years and this and that. But, I would keep it at robot level and not go into, oh, it's a person and, whatever. Because, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, we shouldn't be playing God or whatever you believe. I don't know. But that's just my take. I think karma will come back to get us. Murphy's Law will come get us. These damn things will wake up one day or get some bug or China will hack them. And the next thing you know, we'll be getting killed by our own servant robots and vacuums and shit.
That has already happened. They downloaded AI into a drone 2 months ago, on a drone, mind you, and said, find the weakest point in your flight path versus the battle that it had to go head to head with another drone. The drone came back and wanted to do an airstrike on the human that was controlling it, to get rid of it, to turn around and go back and do, because it had constraints on it. No bullshit. It wanted to do an airstrike. Ugh.
Never trust a monkey or a robot.
Yeah, because it'll destroy you or rip your arms off.
You start trusting apes and monkeys, and next thing you know, we got a Planet of the Apes situation.
Well, historically, primates, apes, they've done a lot of jobs, actually. Like, they can actually do stuff, use tools. They've been people's assistants in the past, like, legitimately, which sounds crazy. But, there's several cases where that's been a real thing. And apparently they're quite loyal and, damn near as smart as a person. You know what I mean? In the sense of knowing you can give them something and tell them where to go and they'll go drop it off. Like, stuff like that. Like, it's pretty cool in a way. But, I guess in another way, people would call it slavery. I don't know. It's how you look at it. I don't know. But they're pretty damn smart. I'll just put it that way. So maybe not the average one running around, throwing shit or whatever, but there's some smart animals out there.
Oh, sorry, Rob. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, I was just saying, be a good bodyguard. How everybody likes a big dog for their kids to protect the kids. You see a 600-pound gorilla coming out the back. I don't think you're gonna have to worry about much.
No. Well, actually, Project what was it 19? And I'm sure Rich will probably correct me on this. Was it 85 or 86? Project X. With the chimpanzees
Matthew
that
Broderick.
were yes, exactly. Project X, that was actually a loosely based film on chimpanzees actually being able to take bombers or a single nuke to a target and execute the mission without human beings being hurt in the process. and granted, nobody knows the full details and everything on the actual project, but it was loosely based on that project, and it was called Project X. And if nobody's ever
Matthew
seen that,
Broderick movie.
yep, it was Matthew Broderick and the gal from Twister.
Helen Hunt.
Yes, thank you. It was those two. Very early in their film acting. So yeah, but a good movie. But a good movie because I won't spoil it all. So I'll just leave it at
Kind of
that.
a sad movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, unfortunately, just because you knew what they were doing and where they were going to do that, but at the same time, you know, um, I don't know. Nuclear war sucks anyway to begin with, so I'll just leave it there.
People, I don't know how many people out there. I mean, our audience probably a few of them, but the first beings that the U. I guess you can call them beings that the U.S. put into space were chimpanzees and monkeys. As part of the test to make sure reentry and everything was safe for humans.
Yep. And what was the Russian dog's name that they sent up and brought back? I can't remember the dog's
Leica.
name. Yes,
Something like that.
thank you. Wow, you are just a repository of info there, DM. Thank
And
you.
then there's the one according to Marvel Comics that the Russians put up there that went out into space and became a super genius.
What they sent a dog out and it became a super genius?
Yeah, you never read Guardians of the Galaxy or seen the movies?
Well, I've seen the movies, but I've never read the comics.
Yeah, Cosmo, who's
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, sorry.
yeah.
Yep.
Did you guys do anything for your moms if they're around?
My mom was at the lake about 45 miles away, and she was chilling. She was happy. I just told her Happy Mother's Day. Wish I could be there, but I was busy back here. She understood. There's been several Mother's Days like that, but no, I got the wife some flowers and some chocolate, and uh, we were gonna try to go out and eat, but just didn't work out. It rained me out late, so but 'tis the life of a farmer. So and she understands. Thank goodness. I found a good one.
I haven't spoken to my mother in quite a few years. So leave it at that.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to mine in 14, 15 years.
Damn. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, and both of you guys. So whatever
Oh
the
man,
issues are, but
She had cancer. Fought cancer for like 10 years. Passed away about
oh
15 years ago.
no. Well, sorry to hear that, DM. Still, I mean that because you're still so. I mean so still sucks. You still have my condolences on that. Wish they were still around.
I'd give you a
Moms are awesome.
strawberry if you could take it through the phone.
Right.
Actually, we have some chocolate covered strawberries. I get them every year for Valentine's and Mother's Day.
Right.
Last time I spoke to my mother was my grandfather's funeral back in 2007. But not because she's dead. She's still alive and, well, not well, according to what my brother messaged my wife on Facebook. But there's issues there. And like I said, I'm not getting into it right now.
I heard you ate her birthday cake. No, I was just seeing if anybody did anything today. So
Jason Stewart's out there in the chat. Evening to you, Jason. Gary brings up the first thing that was intentionally sent to space were fruit flies, as far as living things are concerned. Modified V2 rocket.
Or is it Nazi fruit flies?
Well, it was in 1947. They were probably Nazi fruit flies that were captured and brought back over here to build our space program. A lot of people don't realize that fact, that most of the scientists that worked or supervised the space program were the same guys that built the V1 and V2 rockets for the Nazis.
those fruit flies are probably radiated from space. That was back then. So, it's a good chance they were used as a weapon against us, like you said. Radioactive fruit flies.
Oh, they came back and they were the Fruit Fly Fantastic Four.
They came back to a planet of lizards.
Uh-huh.
They might be like the size of bats. Fruit flies on steroids, all jacked up, an extra eye or something.
Mr. Fantastic Fly. The Invisible Fruit Fly. The Fruit Fly Torch. And the Thing. Come on, nobody here likes the Fantastic Four. Lord. What's wrong with you people?
No, girlfriend.
The Roger Corman Fantastic Four, you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, I watched that a couple of weeks ago. The sad part is, as corny and whatnot that movie was, it was the closest movie that's been produced to the comics so far.
Well, for being a Corman movie, the way they did the Thing he did a really good job.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Thing makeup looked really good, especially for that time period.
You might have heard of a fruit fly. But have you ever seen a super fly? That's how they came back.
So did your kids do anything for Mother's Day?
I don't know.
They picked up the house. After I chewed their ass.
But your kids, after you chewed their ass. But your kids there, Rich?
I just said I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. Our son had to work, and our daughter was just being herself. So I don't know.
Oh, yeah, they did get her flowers. They pulled their money together and they did get her flowers. So I thought that was really sweet.
That's cool. Yeah, especially little kids. It's just a thought that counts, So
Yeah. Well, the oldest one's 10 and the youngest one's 5. So
with older kids, it's an obligation. You don't want your parents feeling all depressed and like they wasted their life on you. So. They gotta do something. At least a card or something. They should. All them Happy Meals. all the times you could have went out and had fun, but you dragged your ass home because you got kids and responsibilities. You know,
Yep.
the sacrifices for all those gifts. The least they could do is send you a damn card.
Yeah. Well, I would have given my mom a card today, but she was at the lake in her camper, and then it rained, and Dad left, and yeah. So.
I don't
uh,
take it. I'm not trying to guilt trip anyone. You know what I mean? So, but just just stating that
oh,
I thought.
oh yeah. Yeah. No, I got the wife something and told my mom Happy Mother's Day, and
Ooh.
called her up and talked to her for about 5 minutes. And,
That's where I stop. Like, I got my lady something by taking her out to dinner with me and my mom. So, but she didn't have to cook and got a good dinner. But technically, she
yeah.
ain't my mom. So everybody's like, "Oh, did you get hers?" Like, no, she ain't my mom. Like, her kids get her stuff. So I don't get the lady stuff for Mother's Day. So I don't know. Maybe I'm an asshole, but that's the way I see it. I don't know.
Now, I know plenty of guys around here that are like that too. So I mean, it, I don't know, half dozen one to the other.
So
I got her something. It was a joint birthday and Mother's Day gift because the birthday was this week too. I got her a KitchenAid knife set.
that doesn't count, man. It's one or the other. You can't combine them. So that's a birthday gift, and you really didn't give her shit for Mother's Day.
No, when the holidays are close together to birthdays, my uncle used to get that every year at Christmas. His birthday was December 23rd, and his Christmas gifts were also his birthday gifts every year.
Well, he got ripped off. I mean, I'm not saying that's not the way people do it, but if you want to be technical, he got ripped off.
Yeah, but you ever see the price on one of those KitchenAid knife sets? I mean, half of that being a birthday and half of that being Mother's Day, and that's about right.
That's not the point.
Yes, it
Two
is.
different dates.
I have a niece that her birthday is the December 26th. I always thought it was kind of, a bad deal that her gifts would get combined. So I'd always just give her cash when we get together.
Well, when I was younger, my brother and I, we had our birthdays were close together, so we always had the same birthday party. So I'd put up with his friends at my birthday party.
One of our kids' birthday is like 3 days after Christmas, but we still would do Christmas and a birthday, to celebrate their day.
Right, and I completely understand that, being able to celebrate their day, with like some cake and some friends and stuff like that and cards and stuff. No, I totally get that.
Artax out there in the chat. Evening, sir.
Howdy, Artat.
Yeah, I see his post taking Emmett to his first range trip. Kid's smiling like he hit the lottery and shit. Like, that's funny. That kid looked happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we kind of had a similar discussion on Hillbillies the other night. Maybe I'll just toss this around real quick. What do you think, for a kid and a first-time adult shooter, would be a good gun for them to shoot?
Let's see, a kid, something like a Cricket 22. If you're talking long gun, a handgun, something like a Heritage Rough Rider or a Ruger Wrangler, maybe.
Yep, there was a lot of that. That's really good. There was a lot of that. around too. So what do you think, New York?
I think caliber wise, I think 22 is ideal to start. So whether they're an adult or not, because you're really more focused on the fundamentals of it at that point. So make sure everything's done in a safe manner, and then we'll take the training wheels off. So so I would say 22. It seems to be the biggest portion. A lot of it is getting over that flinch. A lot of people that are new flinch a lot. So, I mean, it's a good way to work up to it. But as far as, what type of firearm, I think that's, I don't know, whatever. Everybody's got their flavor, I guess. But caliber, I'd say 22 across the board. Decent. I mean, obviously, if they're a decent sized adult or whatever, you can start higher. There's no reason you can, I guess. But I think 22 is the way to go.
Howdy, Gizzard.
What the hell's going on here?
You've been watching. You tell us.
Right.
I don't know. I heard nothing but mumbo jumbo up until about the last 2 minutes ago. Something about quantum physics and all this
Yeah.
crap. It's like, okay, we got an unemployed guy, a farmer, and a construction worker sitting in here talking about quantum physics. This is good stuff, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Hey, we've all got our own opinions.
You know what they say about opinions.
Well, like assholes. Everybody's
Opinions
got
are
one.
like assholes. Everybody's got one. They all stink.
True enough. True enough.
I wouldn't say
So-
that on just anybody's chat, but Rich isn't afraid of the YouTube censors. I know that.
Right.
They also say it's better to be an asshole than a whole ass.
I've heard that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with that. So, DM, what do you think for kids and young adults or even older adults starting out on calibers or guns, or what do you think?
22 is a good start for rifles. I think all the adults that I've taken for their first time for handguns, actually 380, and nobody's had a problem with it. And there was a kid at the range one time. I had my 300 blackout, my suppressed 300 blackout, and I didn't realize that. Him and his dad were kind of watching us. And I'm like, hey, you want to come over and shoot this? And it was his first time. So, like the AR platform, I mean, they're soft enough shooting. You can, 5.56 or 300 blackout. Nobody's going to have a problem with it.
I don't really have a problem with starting somebody out with 380 ACP if you're going to put it in a decent sized gun for them to shoot it out of. Put it in one of these little mouse guns, you have no business giving that to a new shooter. Trust me, because that's how my daughter started out, and she was so scared of shooting guns after that for a while because it makes you recoil shy. Those little guns can't handle the recoil.
Yeah, and they're loud.
They're loud. You can't hit the broadside of a barn with them, and it makes you think you're a worse shooter than you really are because nobody can shoot them silly things.
Yep.
So, yeah, if you take a 380 and put it inside of like a EZ or something like that's got a decent sized barrel and some weight to it.
That's what I've got. I still have my PK 380, but it's not. Mine is not a good gun. So I bought a 380 EZ to use, and
See, I think you'd be all right with that.
Yeah, I got one of those too. It's a nice shooting gun.
But the
So-
nice thing about 22 is they're not going to develop much of a flinch at all shooting that for a few rounds till they get used to, the trigger discipline and everything else, and then move them to something that's going to have a little bit of a kick to it. I think they'd be a lot better at handling it. I wished I'd have started out more that way, personally.
Pat's having the delusion that he's they're being a flight control officer for a bomber, apparently.
Moo's talking about dinosaurs.
No, spooky.
What do you think?
Say hello to 223 DMR out there.
Yeah, we've kind of got our own lingo since Afghanistan broke down. But anyway, that's for a chat for another time. One of the things that I thought would be really cool for somebody to start out on is actually a carbine. For adults is a 9mm carbine, just so that when they can see the 9mm go through on a carbine and then transition to the handgun. Because a lot of us have shot 9mm, especially the old high point and stuff. Not a lot of recoil, and they can see that. Okay, here's the bullet that goes into this one, and here's the bullet that goes into this one. Just kind of depending on the handgun and everything that it goes into for recoil and everything. A micro carry or something like that, yeah, it's going to have a lot more snap. But if go into a full duty gun, so I always thought 9mm would be pretty good for an adult, and yeah, definitely 22 for kids. Cricket or something like that, or if they wanted to get even more fun like that, or let's say between 10 to 12, a Henry lever action, maybe even in 22 mag.
You're going to give a kid a lever action gun?
Well, just one at a time.
Something a lot of adults would have trouble with the action on. I would.
All my kids, well, I'm not saying start them out on that. I'm just saying when they progress. I'm sorry, I didn't define that very well. But no, all my kids have started out on the Savage and done really good, and pellet guns and stuff like that. And my oldest boy, he's almost just about ready to turn 10, and he's on the lever action Henry now.
Now, are we presuming we're starting our kids off with BB guns? Because that's the way I learned.
Well, yeah, and yeah, that's a very good point.
All jokes aside, you learn the safe handling of guns, trigger discipline. Well, not trigger discipline so much, but always have it in a safe direction. You can learn a lot of that without having a real firearm in your hands. And then after you've demonstrated, you can hand that to a fairly small child and teach them the proper way of looking down sights and aiming and stuff like that. And then once you give them a real gun, then they kind of sort of already have a clue what to do.
Yeah, no, you made a really good point, Gizzard, because I got at the time, would have been my first boy, and I got him a Red Ryder single. It was a lever action, but it was a single pump BB gun, and we were knocking targets over at 10 feet. And he was having a great time. I had to cock it for him because he wasn't big enough to throw that loop clear around, and everything. But he would saddle it up.
You learn the proper way to hold a rifle.
Mm-hmm.
You learn how to look down sights and aim, and you get good at it after a while. and
Yep.
stuff like that. So once they've done that, I mean, that's the way I learned. So by the time my dad actually handed me a 22, I pretty much didn't have to ask how it worked. It's like, okay, this is going to be a little louder, but it's going to work the same way, and you're already familiar with it.
I didn't
Yeah.
get a BB gun until after I had already shot my first 22.
Oh man, that's the fun of growing up is having a BB gun. I got so many memories of the things we did
Well,
with our
my-
BB
Mhm.
guns.
My grandfather had me shooting 22 when I was 5, 6 years old.
In fact, when I was in Cub Scouts, we had a whole deal where we had competitions with BB guns and stuff like that, and we had to learn all the firearms rules, even though we didn't even really have firearms, but we had to memorize those rules and practice them. And it was a pretty good deal, I thought. And then we had a competition afterwards, and
My grandfather taught us all that stuff using the toy guns that we had.
back when we had Boy Scouts before they just became Scouts or whatever they're
Yeah.
called now.
Scouting America or some nonsense.
Yeah. Let's go neutral, folks. We don't have boys or girls anymore.
Yeah.
My first BB gun was Marksman. It's the same one that Clark Griswold uses to hold John Candy.
Yep, I had
Wasn't there-
one. I had one of those.
I like the idea, and I guess followed that kind of idea of the BB guns, starting with BB guns. So I wouldn't say we necessarily started with them, but that they could use those pretty much anytime. Not anytime, but where real firearms was different. But yeah, I think it's a good learning tool, as others said there. When a kid gets to that point where they're interested in guns or you want to get them into guns, and it's a good practice tool. If you can't handle these right, then you're not mature enough to step up to something real. I think that's a good way of looking at it in a sense. So, but I do argue against buying a damn cricket. I know a lot of people take that route, and everybody's got their own feelings on it. But for me, I think it's just a waste of money in an end, because most kids, whether it's even a damn airsoft gun, they want semi-auto. Whether they're ready for that or not, that's a different decision. But you could buy a semi-auto and then just have the rule where they can only load 1-2 rounds in a magazine. Until you're comfortable with the situation. So you still obviously learn the fundamentals, all that type of stuff. But it seems like, it's like, I don't know, buying a bike with permanent training wheels, where you just, at a certain point, normally you've got to take those off. So why have to buy 2 bikes when you could just buy one? I don't know. So seems like a waste of money to me.
Well, my dad taught us with this. It was an antique 22. It was a Mauser that he sent home from World War II. And bolt action, single shot. About as safe as you could get, You had to chamber the one round, take safety off, aim carefully, and fire. And you weren't going to accidentally get a second round in there because you had to pull that bolt back, get another bullet out, stick it in there. So, yeah, you had plenty of time to think between shots. Besides that, Dad was right there. So,
Yep.
I've been trying
Yeah.
to remember.
and I have that gun now, by the way.
I've been thinking about it. I think the first rifle I ever shot was a Marlin 336 made for Sears under the J.C. Higgins name in 3030. That was a fun rifle to shoot.
I got a fun story. First 22 that ever got bought for me and my brother. It was a Marlin bolt action. I can't remember the name can't remember the model right offhand. It's sitting in the cabinet over. I'm not gonna go grab it. But Dad grabbed it up off the shelf, and this is a guy that's been shooting for quite a while. You know, he's got 270s, 22 to 50 shotguns. You know, a lot of different calibers underneath his belt. Grabs it, brings it home, and we've been shooting Red Riders and then 10 pump BB guns, and he had us go on the some of the bolt action 22s that he had, and he grabs up a bolt action for me and my brother. Starts shooting it, and he wants to make sure it's okay, it's cleaned up, ready to go. He says, "Man, I can't get this thing to group worth a crap." He said, "This thing is just not feeding right. It's not doing anything right. It's just, I can't get this thing, nothing's working right." He finally looked back on the barrel. It's a 22 mag.
That could be a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would do it.
It was a slight problem. He put about 10 rounds through it, and he said, "This thing is a piece of shit." And then finally he got to looking at the barrel and goes, "Oh, well, I guess you guys are shooting it." So he went out and bought a bunch of 22 mag ammunition and got us a couple of magazines, and we started shooting 22 mag. And I just thought that was funny. I'm not trying to throw my dad underneath the bus. He just saw 22, and you know he'd never seen a 22 WMR, and he just grabbed it off the shelf there, and Cabela's bought it.
Well, a
and,
lot of people think, you know, that a 22 Magnum can chamber 22 long rifles. They don't really know the difference, but it don't quite work that way.
Yeah, it would change.
Until I was a grown up, I'd never heard of 22 Magnum. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, that's how I got my first dance into Magnum stuff, and I've been kind of in love, you know, liking the Magnum stuff ever since. You know, 357 Magnum, 22 Magnum, and
Until I'd never shot a 22 Magnum, I thought, what's the big deal about this? Why would anybody want to shoot this? And then I actually bought one and shot it. It's like, oh, this is completely different. This is actually twice the fun. If you're big enough, you can handle it and stuff. It's like, wow, this is kind of like 22 on steroids.
I don't think I've ever shot a 22 Magnum.
Oh, they are fun.
Rifle.
Okay, well, I will bring mine to Thunder on the Prairie, and I'll bring the Heritage Rough Rider.
Gonna say my
22 mag cylinder.
My Barkeep has a 22 mag cylinder. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be. Yeah, I shot that last year, but that was just out of the 22. I'll have to bring some 22 mag stuff, and we'll shoot.
Got my Ruger LCR with a 4-inch, I think it's 3 or 4-inch barrel that's also chambered in 22 mag. Now that's a easy gun to be accurate with. I like that one. If you want to shoot it out of a handgun, I used to own a rifle. I sold it. Wished I hadn't, but I did.
Yeah, I got the 22 cylinder for my Rough Rider. The 5, I think it's a 5-inch barrel model.
Yep, that's what I got, and with the mag cylinder to go with it, and you can definitely tell the difference when you shoot a 22 round through it versus a 22 mag. Yeah, it's
now for the people who haven't shot it, it's not that bad.
No,
it's not that bad. It's not going to blow your hands off. It's not going to, you're not going to have this go flying out of your hands. But there is a noticeable difference, both in sound, and it does have a little bit more recoil.
Yeah, it's not vicious, by any stretch of the imagination, but no, it's a good round. I've taken plenty of coyote and badger and raccoon and everything with the 22 mag at 100 yards, and with the right round under 100 yards with the mag, yeah, you're a stone cold killer if you can do that. with the
Well, you
mag.
don't have, if you're shooting it out of a rifle, you don't have quite the drop rate that you do out of
Mhm.
the 22 LR. So you can shoot out a little further and not have to lead up so much. So yeah, for a long range precision, it's pretty good little round.
Yeah, my
Mhm.
grandfather
Agreed.
he had a Winchester lever action in 22 Win Mag, and used to go out rabbit hunting with that. That was a nice rifle. Wish I had it, but I don't. But a multitude of guns that he had that I wish I would have been able to get a hold of.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because you're gonna have to bring that one back. We're gonna, I'll bring my mag ammo, and we'll do a test on that one versus the Rough Rider
The
on the
LCR.
Heritage. Yep. And
Okay. Yeah, I brought it
see how
last year, but I
see how
don't
they
know if
compete.
anybody shot it.
Yeah, I don't think I shot that one. I shot your high standard again just because I'm absolutely in love with that thing.
Yeah, I know you are.
You know, the last 2 years we've been there, man, that thing is a marksman's pistol.
I
Man, I love
honestly
that
think
thing.
you shot that more than I have, to tell you the truth. That's not
Oh
true. I
man,
took it
that
to the
thing.
range and shot 100 rounds through it the first day I got it.
Don't
Just to
blame
make,
you. That thing is beautiful.
well, I wanted to see if it could handle all the different, because I have 4 or 5 different kinds of ammo. I wanted to make sure it handled them all just fine. And yeah, zero problems with it. So.
And that is a 59, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that thing, it it might look worn and rusted, but that thing will shoot lights out.
It's not rusted so much as just the finish wasn't well taken care of, and I
Yeah.
haven't paid to have it refinished because I didn't buy it for a Safe Queen. I bought it for something to shoot, and it does shoot.
Yes, it does.
It
And
just
we've
has to
proven
be
that.
the ugly duckling out on the range. That's fine with me. I don't care.
Nope, that's fine because I'm shooting it again this year.
I'm gonna say it's older than
We're
me,
doing
and
another video.
I'm old and ugly. I don't care.
No, we're doing another video.
We can do that.
All right, awesome.
When it comes to shooting, results are what matters.
Yep.
Not cool. Yeah. I guess, yeah, depending on what you're into it for. I mean, if you're into it to look cool, I guess that matters. But all in all, results are what matter.
If I'm shooting a 22, I'm after accuracy. Pinpoint accuracy. I want to be able to hit targets. That's what I'm shooting a 22 for. And so yeah, something like, and I will agree with Pat. That's probably the most accurate 22 I own.
Used to shoot competitively with 22 back in high school in junior RTC. We had some really high-end, expensive German competition rifles. Those things were extremely accurate in 22 long rifle. Crazy how accurate those rifles were. Create a clover leaf in a bullseye with one of those things easy.
Well, that old Mauser that I talked to you about, my dad used to like to shoot shorts out of it. He seemed to think it's actually more accurate with shorts than it was the longer cartridges, and that's what he usually bought to put in there. It'll shoot them all. Well, not magnums, but 22 short, 22 long, 22
Right.
long rifle.
Yeah, my Henry's that way. You can shoot the shorts, the long, and the long rifle. That's a fun 22 rifle to shoot too.
Now my Marlin
Yeah.
60 is fun as far as that goes. It's reasonably accurate.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, New York, how does your Smith stack up on accuracy on that on your semi-auto?
Uh,
How
haven't done any like technical tests, I guess you could say, break it down at exact minute angle or anything, but it's I would call it a precision tool. We've done SIM card challenges, and you can whack a SIM card. If you do your part, it'll do its part. So actually, I'm pretty impressed with that M&P 1522, and actually you mentioned Marlin 795, which is a very cheap gun, affordable. Got that for kids, and semi-auto 10-round mags. But that thing's for being such a budget gun, it's pretty good. So I haven't shot it out. It's, I don't know, a couple hundred yards or anything. Obviously 22 as well, but so I can't give you precise numbers, but I would state I could hit a button on somebody's shirt if I tried. It's pretty accurate.
RL's heading out. He said you got to get up for work at 0400. So have a good night, RL. Get some sleep.
I remember work.
Honey, what time are you going up to bed?
Well, I was just curious, kind of between some of the newer stuff, the semi-autos and everything that everybody shot, because I've had some really good accurate 22s, between my Henry, taking down coyotes, and unless I got something really hot in that 22 in my Henry, let's say 30 grain, hollow point running. I can't remember the feet per second. I have to go back and look at in my ammo box and everything. But usually I can take down a coyote about 65, 70 yards as long as I do my part and put it right in the pump house and put it down. Squirrels, badgers, stuff like that. As long as I'm under 50 and stuff like that, getting a good aim on it, just stuff, doing your part on it, just good guns that everybody's had in 22, because man, 22 is just about the funnest thing that I've ever shot in my whole entire life.
I wouldn't go that far. I've shot an MG42, so.
Well, you know what I mean, though, for the price and everything. I'll put it. Yeah, I'll put it that way. Yeah, MG42. That's pretty hard to beat. That's a pretty wicked gun.
No, for a lot of the places that we would go squirrel hunting around here were public hunting areas. Fish and Game Commission, and a lot of those were close to camping areas, and they wouldn't allow you to shoot rifle. So we would have to hunt squirrels with 410 shotguns.
Yeah, done that before too. Well, not really a squirrel. I'm not big on squirrel. I don't like squirrel, but hunted rabbit and like different birds with a 410 before.
Well, rabbits won't sit still in a tree. A squirrel will.
It's more fun to shoot a moving target than one that's going to sit there throwing walnuts at you.
Depends on how hungry you are. Yes, I've eaten squirrel.
I've eaten it. I didn't care for it.
Well, I'd rather have a steak, let's be real, but they kind of frown on you shooting cattle. So.
What they don't know.
Pretty sure Pat would frown on you shooting any of his herd.
Let's be honest, just about anything tastes pretty good after it's sat in a crock pot for half the day. A bunch of seasonings and vegetables and stuff mixed in. Yeah.
Mm-mm. No.
Yeah, you give my cattle lead poisoning, I might give you lead poisoning back.
That's why I said what you
Learn
don't
about
know.
fair play.
Like some of those
Oh, I know.
farmers. Some of those
I know.
farmers who used to paint the word cow on the side of their cattle so people wouldn't accidentally shoot them when they were deer hunting.
Yeah.
Yes,
Paint
people
cow in
actually did
orange.
that. Yeah, they would
And
put cow right
yes,
on the side of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen
that
that before.
has happened
Where
10 years ago. Some idiot decided to shoot one of my older cows that had horns, and they couldn't differentiate the. Oh, yeah, I just about. Yeah. Well, Dad, I'll put it this way: Dad pulled the shotgun on him. And
If you can't tell the difference between a cow and a deer, you probably shouldn't be taking a shot.
when I was a kid, where we went deer hunting, there was a farm right next to the forest there, and the farmer had the orange snap-on blankets that he put on all his cows.
Did the guy pay for the cow, Pat? He ended up, making it right.
yeah, Dad said, you either lay $600 down right now, which that was a fair price for the cow at the time. This is 10 years ago. And he says, either you lay down $600 right now or I'm taking your ass to court. And the guy got out $600 bills and paid my dad right on the spot.
Wow. Was the guy some city slicker or something on a hunting?
Yes.
Probably.
Yep. He didn't know his head from a goddamn hole in the ground. And I was going to say something way meaner than that, but I'm trying to keep it a little bit nicer. No, I'm just going to say he didn't know his ass from the fucking hole in the goddamn ground. And, yeah.
It reminds me of this group of hunters I come across one day. They were road hunting, and they were all standing around this group of bushes. And what are you boys doing? They said, well, there's some quail in here. Pretty soon they took off, and it's like, you better not shoot those. And they said, why? I said, because those are metal larks. That's a state bird. That's going to get you a substantial fine. Don't know the difference between a quail and a metal lark, for God's sake.
Pat, the proper way of saying that was he had his head up his ass and he still couldn't tell his ass from a hole in the ground.
City people go hunting. They need somebody from the country to take them. I'm sorry.
Some type of guide or spotter. How to
And
deal.
they got those around here. Yeah. You
Yeah.
can get guides. Yeah.
Some place, even here, I guess, in America, taking down somebody's animal could be a big problem. Shit. In the old days, that could have been a hanging offense someplace. In other countries to this day, that's a serious problem. Like, you better be able to account for that. So, or you're gonna have some bad luck coming your way at the very least. So, depending where you are, but people, there's more value in it in other places than we see here. In some senses. So, you take out somebody's livestock, you might really be putting a hardship on them. Like taking out half their business or food for a period. So it's a sketchy thing. Could get you killed.
Real quick, Ron Wayne's out there in the chat. Evening, Ron. Yeah, I always thought it was funny that we go out there hunting and you look over into the farmer's field and you saw a bunch of cows wearing orange jackets, essentially. That was funny looking. Yeah, I've expected the cows to have rifles and shotguns too.
Other
What if,
stories here about people's dogs getting shot, all types of stuff. Cows, goat, sheep, anything like that. Anything besides a damn deer. Same thing. People from the city or whatever, go drop a couple grand on a bunch of gear and stuff, come out and just want to shoot at anything that moves. And it's pretty crazy. Sometimes they end up shooting at each other, and there's been a few of those stories too. So it's really risky out on like public lands around here and hunting season. So I personally avoid it. I go out and shoot, but I'd not go out and hunt with these people because some of these places there's more people set up than there is deer. As soon as it's hunting season, they're all hanging out in people's yards or by the side of the road. The deer are smarter than the damn people at that time. So and then if somebody does take a shot or the deer comes through and you got 2-3 people going for it, then what happens? It's just a bad situation. And I'm brown, so and you guys might know the rule, but a lot of these guys are desperate, and if it's brown, it's down. So I got no business being out there near the end of the season.
Just wear a lot of orange and white face, Rob. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I thought at least I'd get a little laugh out of that, but yeah.
I think it's about as close as you're going to get. The laughs seem to be few and far between with this crowd tonight, I tell you. I think it's because we started off talking physics.
Well, I don't know. People sometimes just want to stay in their box. I don't know. That's on them. So personally think there's a lot going on out there that we don't know about. We're left in the dark unintentionally for one reason or another, whether it's it'll bunk religion or control or power or money. I think we're left in the dark on a lot of stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't have a full blown like space fleet out there and it's like Men in Black shit going on out there. Personally, wouldn't surprise me at all. So, but like I said, that would create a lot of issues. I mean, there's been a lot of recent discoveries that create conflicts for certain religions and stuff as well. So that don't get a lot of light out and whatnot. So I don't know. It's hard to say, but I think we're far beyond what we think we are. So just not publicly.
I'm gonna have to start running this down because I gotta get up early in the morning. So, Pat,
That's no fun.
yeah, I gotta go see a specialist tomorrow. So. Pat, anything you want to say before we get out of here? Anything you want to plug?
Yeah. Actually, I will plug something tonight. Decoding Firearms from John Petrolino. It's an easy to read guide on manual of arms of a lot of different guns and stuff and gun safety and everything. You can check them out on the Pen Patriot out there on Facebook and X, if I'm remembering correctly. A lot of good stuff in here for beginner and just somebody wanting to refresh themselves that maybe have been out of the game for a little bit. It's a Forget Me Not Media LLC. The guy does a lot of 2A advocacy and everything, especially in the state of New Jersey. So yeah, go check him out and everybody on the panel. And I know there's a lot of good people out there in the side chat tonight. So yeah, that's all I got to plug, except for getting that Panzer video out. Now that it rained, hopefully I can get out tomorrow and finally get the accuracy test done with the Panzer, and we'll just see what happens with that. But thank you for having me on tonight, and appreciate it. And yeah, good panel and good side chat tonight.
Yeah. Thanks for jumping on. All right. What about you, Rob?
Just say happy Mother's Day to any mothers out there. Other than that, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the invite. Stay cool. Eat a salad, keep kicking ass, and don't take any shit.
Ron Wayne
Agreed,
said,
Rob.
well, there is a Dollar General on the moon. Well, somebody had to supply the Nazis that had escaped to the moon and set up a secret base there. So.
How do they get the trucks there to supply it, though?
Space shuttles.
UFOs.
I thought they discontinued the space shuttle program.
That's what they want you to think.
Nazis had a saucer program.
Yeah, they were. That was one of their planned super weapons, saucers that would crash through bombers. I don't know how well that would have worked. What about you, Foss? Anything you want to plug or anything?
Well, I guess just give me just a second. There we go. If you didn't know, Rich White is on Subscribestar.
Yep.
So I dropped a link out there so you can head over there and help support his channel that way.
And just in time, too, because right as you said that, the Subscribestar link started going across in the crawler, too.
What is Subscribestar? Subscribestar. What is?
It's like Patreon.
Yeah, it's like Patreon kind of thing.
Okay.
Gary throwing out the website. So thank you, Gary. Thank you, Foss. So yeah, you go over to the website and you go over to our affiliates link, and you can also find affiliate link for the Blackout Coffee, Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and Tractor Supply. Oh, excuse me. And Defense Dad shows up just at the end of the show. You have to go back and watch the replay, man. So, all right. Thanks for jumping off us and moving over to Gary. Anything you want to plug? Anything you got coming up?
Well, I will. I do have. I recorded my Kaiser knife video today on the 2 Kaiser knives that they sent me. So hopefully have the editing done on that tonight and have them ready sometime tomorrow. I did the 2 knives on one review, and then I'll be making individual shorts out of them. But a couple good looking knives there for sure. Other than that, I'm going to be in Dallas for NRAM, leaving out Wednesday morning. So I won't have any of my live streams this week. No members only chat and no foul territory until next week. Hopefully we will get some good content for you there in Dallas. And yeah, I'll be back next Monday evening. And we'll go from there. So yeah, that's what I got going on. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Thanks for jumping on, and have a safe trip.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a safe travels, and bring us back good footage.
All right.
And I heard a Gizzard Gary takeover.
I hadn't heard that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I'd be surprised if something like that were to happen.
There's enough ornery people out there. Somebody will do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind.
Yeah, real quick, going back to Smoky Mountain Knife Works, if you go over there, to my website and go over to the affiliate site, Smoky Nut Knife Works right now. As long as supplies last, you order. I forget if there's a minimum or not. You have to look over on the website, but you get a free little screwdriver kind of tool. So if you're planning on wanting to order a knife or anything from Smoky Mountain, now's the time to do it. And remember, with Smoky Mountain Knife Works right now too, and all orders over $75 get free shipping. So you get the free little multi-tool kind of screwdriver thing and free shipping at over $75. So yeah, now would be the time to head over there and hit my affiliate link. So I'd throw that out there too. So I guess that'll wrap it up for tonight. I want to thank all the panelists that showed up: Pat in the Bunker, Rob D, DM Foss, and Gizzard Gary, and everybody out there watching in the chat as well. I mean, you guys are why we do this. So without you, we'd be just talking to ourselves, basically. So have a good night, everybody, and we will catch y'all sometime.
Stay safe. Carry your weapon.